Welcome everyone to another episode of the Otaku Gaming Podcast. This week we actually have a lot to discuss because the Game Awards happened, and thankfully Robin wasn't ill, so he's here with me. How are you doing, Robin?
I'm doing pretty great. I'm doing okay. Just seeing there's actually been quite a bit that's happened the past week. Besides the Game Awards, of course, quite a lot of stuff.
Quite a lot of stuff. Where would you like us to begin?
I guess let's talk about the Game Awards in general. Because in addition to, I guess let's first say. How are the Game Awards decided? They are decided by a jury of various journalists from various outlets across the world. So, it's still opinionated, but in general, the Game Awards gets a very big consensus from multiple outlets.
Yes. It is like an aggregate. It is kind of like a Metacritic of sorts.
Yeah, that's why usually for the most part, when you tally up the total awards won by outlets, given out by outlets worldwide, usually the game that wins the most awards from most outlets tends to win the Game Awards Game of the Year as well. So, it's not hard and fast, but, that happens often. Like it happens enough for us to see a pattern there.
Yeah.
Then they gave out in the various categories, so you're going to get a bit of a global view, and I think this is an important thing to note because American European outlets tend to be the ones most people read, but the Game Awards jury has got a lot of like Spanish outlets, Italian outlets, Brazilian outlets. So even though you're going to be seeing awards given out through through this coming few months, and you'll be like, man, how come the Game Awards is so different from all the outlets I read? But then you realize there's a lot of outlets you don't read that their voting affected the Game Awards.
Yep. Very true. Very, very true.
Yeah, so I think that's one thing to just get out of the way first, and then of course, there's lots of game announcements. The Game Awards are they're a spectacle, and Geoff Keighley, I love the guy. He needs to put bills on the table. He needs to run ads. He needs to run advertising for the industry. So, I understand why it's like that. So because of that, you get a lot of game announcements and trailers and previews and all that stuff.
I mean, I get it too. It used to frustrate me a lot, but I listen to, the most I've ever listened to Geoff Keighley not be a marketing shield is this E3 thing he did. Summer, what did you call it? Like the summer of gaming thing. Yeah, like he would just like stream from his living room and just talk like normally, like a normal person. And there are many times he just said like, oh, I wish the Game Awards were this way, but I have to pay the bills, like I have to, like he mentioned specifically, like he hated that shaving thing. It's like I look at that and I'm like, oh my god, but you gotta pay the bills somehow, so I empathize.
I think where you can tell that okay, this guy is an actual journalist. He's got these like inside looks into certain games. He recently did one for Half-Life Alyx.
Oh yes, those are so good. Yeah, those are amazing.
If you look into the work he does there, that's when you see that Geoff Keighley he started off as a journalist in the industry, and now he's like a bigger figurehead, so to say. So it's like of all the journalists, he's the one who's really made it big. So it's like, if you want to see where he came from and the journalistic work he can do, you should see some of those documentaries he does, and it's like, okay, he does a really good job. He's a good journalist, you can tell. But it's like, with the Game Awards, he's a passionate person about the industry, and after the spike Game Awards, fell apart, he had to, he had to he had to do something because even though a lot of devs don't care, there are, it's still the most spectacular show, if I can say.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it prestigious, but I'd say it's like, people do care and want to win this award.
They do.
You know what I mean?
To say devs don't care, I don't think is correct. Like, it's not true. Like, I was watching Play Watch Listen, Alana
Yes.
Pierce's podcast, and it has, well, I guess now they're all devs, right? Like, because Alana's now working for Sony Santa Monica, and they all mentioned, they're like, even Troy Baker was like, at one point, like, when he lost the BAFTA, like, he cried in the bathroom because it's like, I really wanted this one and I felt like I really deserved it. And even the other guys are like, yeah, like, it means a lot to you to win this stuff, or to even be nominated. It boosts sales sometimes, and it's just nice to be acknowledged. So to say it doesn't mean anything, that's something that is like the quote unquote correct thing to say, to sound cool or whatever, but I don't think that's true at all.
Yeah, that's just how it is. So like, I think in terms of the award, which like the most devs in general tune into, it is, the Game Awards. One thing I like about the Game Awards that they've managed to do that things like BAFTA and DICE get wrong, that the Game Awards successfully incorporate Japanese game developers.
Yes.
One thing I've noticed with BAFTA and DICE is that there's rarely ever any recognition. Okay, maybe I'm being a bit biased because of my bias, but it feels like there's not as much recognition for Japanese-made games with those types of awards.
I know exactly what you're saying. I fully agree with it. Even the BAFTAs sometimes feel very Eurocentric. Like, it will be the European games. If they're like 3 big European indie games, they will be nominated for Game of the Year over a huge Japanese AAA game, a huge American AAA game. So I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, so the Game Awards managed to like bridge this with a kind of global appeal where even, Japanese devs last year from Software, Miyazaki was at the show in LA. And that's like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I find the other year, it's the sort of thing like, okay, it's a good thing for the industry, I feel. The Game Awards in general, it's a good thing to have. Whatever you think about the show, whatever you think about the winners or the format, I think it's a net positive for the industry to have a big show at the end of the year in that nature.
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree.
So I guess anyway, you want to go over the announcements or the winners first?
I think let's start with the announcements, and then we can go to the winners.
Do you want to do major announcements or all announcements?
I think let's just do major announcements, with the biggest one being Master Chief is in Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite with another big guest character. First they got Kratos like a week or so ago. Now they've got the Chief himself.
I mean, I joke, but that is actually a pretty cool announcement. Fortnite is huge. I respect what they do. I respect what it is. I hope the devs are getting enough rest because it seems they're always doing something. I respect that. So yeah, I guess a big one for me,
the
actual biggest one for me was the quadruple A video game from Xbox Studios, The Initiative. It's The Initiative, right? Yes, The Initiative. They teased Perfect Dark, the worst kept secret in Microsoft.
A very long time.
So they said it was some sort of echo shooter, which is like, okay, cool.
There's an ecological disaster.
Yeah, I was looking at that trailer. I'm like, is this Mirror's Edge? I was like, oh, but it's Joanna. Okay, it's okay. I'm just glad it's been
I was of course
announced.
disappointed that it was PG, but like, it's a good thing that's happened.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I don't think this game is going to come out till like 2022 or 2023. But it's cool that it's been announced. It's great to know that you have that in your arsenal, Xbox. I was even having this discussion with my friends. I was like, this generation, Xbox is gonna have like 3 AAA exclusives from their studios every year. It's very possible that there's also going to be three, and that's very encouraging as opposed to how it was last generation. Like it's encouraging, I think.
Yeah, it's it's been long awaited. It's been much rumored. It's nice to get it out there, and my hope now is that the devs can like just take their time, not feel pressured by all the rumors. I didn't like the reveal because it was a CG reveal.
Yeah.
CG reveals and me, we don't go hand in hand. I prefer if you're going to not show gameplay, at least let it be in engine. So that was a bit disappointing, but I want Microsoft to just let them take their time. Don't let the rumors get to anyone or anything. Just let it cook.
Let it cook. I agree. Do you looking at that trailer? It's clearly losing its CyberPunk theme. I don't know. Was that deliberate? I don't know. I'm curious. We'll see. We'll find out when they say more.
I don't know enough about Perfect Dark to start discussing Perfect Dark, but I will say I've heard a lot of good things about the way the tools and the approach to structure in the first game is, and that the second game is terrible. So like
the second game is not very good. The first game I like a lot. I think it was a better game than GoldenEye. Like as a single player game, I thought it was better. So I'm curious to see what they do with it. I hope it has a Deus Ex kind of moment. So yeah, so that was a big one.
Now for the actual biggest announcement, the new Super Smash Brothers character.
Yes, the new Super Smash Brothers character who didn't get a letter, just invited himself in somehow. Didn't know you could do that. Is Final Fantasy 7 Sephiroth? Is it the remake one? It's just 7, right?
It's just Final Fantasy 7 Sephiroth.
Yeah, it was a very cool trailer.
How Smash Brothers, how Smash Ultimate is basically developed by Bandai Namco. Nintendo just they pay them to do it.
I did not know
so,
that.
Yeah, Nintendo's internal studios mostly focus on their big prestige titles. Even stuff like Fire Emblem is developed by Koei Tecmo. But that's what I'm trying to say is, Smash Ultimate is done by Bandai Namco. And one thing I have noticed with Bandai Namco, the 3 games they're handling, Tekken, Soul Calibur, and Smash, the trailers for their DLC characters just keep getting better. So when you look at the quality of that Sephiroth trailer, the framing, the way the music is done, the timing, the cinematics, all that stuff, you can tell that this is the exact same company that is making the trailers for the other games it's doing. They really know how to bring the hype with these trailers.
They do.
And the Sephiroth, it was crazy. It was insane.
It was really cool. The thing that I always like about Smash character reveals is the hour before, all these random names that's trending on Twitter. All the random names just that. And I wonder what people think when they look at their trending tab, and it's why is Sora trending? Why is But yeah, it was very cool.
You don't have to play Smash to feel the excitement for a Smash review. It's always it's always fun. And then afterwards, there's the deluge of fan art from Smash fan artists who don't even play anything else but Smash. It's new character. And then it's so nice because this is like a character who I actually like and care about. So it's like this is really cool. And of course, there's that bit of anger when you're like you maybe watch reaction videos and then you're like, oh, this guy didn't know it was Sephiroth when the music started playing. He only knew it was Sephiroth when he saw his face, and it's like, how can you not know that it's Sephiroth when the music started playing? Like even before his face came, I was like, wow, I can't believe they've done this. It's so cool. It's so cool as a fan of FF7 to see Sephiroth get in. Love him or hate him, he's an iconic character.
He is. He's very, very iconic. It was, man. Smash is just a Mugen game now, man. Like it's just.
At this point, it's Mugen, yeah.
I'm wondering what all the sword, the people, because I know that in the Smash community, people are like, oh no, another sword character, and
no, I think actually Sephiroth has to be I think he's the best accepted sword character in a while.
Yes, this is because the thing. I didn't see any, oh my god, another sword character thing. But then again, don't people just say that because it's Fire Emblem characters? Because I've only seen that, oh my god, another sword character thing.
I don't know. People were upset when the Dragon Quest guys got added.
Oh, okay, yeah, true.
Sephiroth is just so, he's so cool, man. Like he's that edgy cool which everybody puts up with and likes. So it's like, I feel like the reaction he's gotten is the sort of reaction if maybe like a Devil May Cry character was announced, even though you put Virgil and he uses a sword, but like you just like the guy, you like the character, and I think Sephiroth, the reaction is extremely positive.
It has been. It really has been. Yeah, you have to, like, if you need to see that trailer. It's, even if you don't like play Smash, just watch that trailer. Even if you know who it is, just the way the music was done, it will get you hyped. It was very, very cool.
Yeah, so I don't even play or watch Smash, but knowing that Sephiroth is in Smash, I like that. I like that sort of thing.
Yeah. So the other announcement that I think is pretty big is from a new studio called Striking Distance Studios. It has devs from, God, I'm blanking on the name. The guys who did Dead Space.
Right.
Star Wars 1313.
Visceral,
yeah. Visceral Games. And it's called the Callisto Protocol. It's basically Dead Space. It's Dead Space 4, whatever. Like it's Dead Space. And it's a next-gen game, single player. And it looks interesting. For someone like me who likes survival horror games, I'm fairly excited. Not very excited. I'm fairly excited. Yeah, it looks very cool. I didn't manage to play Dead Space because it was too scary for me. Weird, I know. But maybe I'll manage to play this one because I really do like survival horror. So it was cool to see that.
It's nice that a lot of those devs who lost their feet after EA's shenanigans and Visceral, it's nice to see that they're getting on their feet, forming new studios. I've been hearing that this has been happening a lot, that former devs at this are now making their own studios because it's, instead of just saying I'll go indie, they just say we'll make a small studio.
Yeah.
Get there with a publisher because now content is king, and if you can sell yourself on your name, you say, "Oh, I made Dead Space." So that's how they're going to sell Callisto Protocol. I hear even like some former BioWare devs did the same thing. So it's nice to see to an extent. It
is very nice. Another one that I personally really like. I think this is the one I'm excited for the most, is Hazelight Studios' new game, It Takes Two. We saw a huge gameplay trailer. This is by Joseph Fares. You know him as the Oscars guy.
the guy who makes co-op games like a way out.
Yes, like a way out. And he made one of my favorite games of all time, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Strongly recommend playing that game. Strongly recommend. Even for new gamers. Like, I think it's one of those which the puzzles are not so intense. And it looks... I'm very interested in this one because it's like whimsical. His other games have not been whimsical. They have some like comedy, like Brothers had some comedy, A Way Out had some comedy, but this one looks like it's full-on comedy. And I'd like to see his brand of that because I think it's very like on the nose and kind of dumb, and I'm into that. So, yeah. But it's also very heartfelt. Like the thing about Joseph Fares is that he's very like earnest and heartfelt, and I like that. Yeah. So this one is about so Brothers was about siblings, brothers, obviously. A Way Out, were they brothers or friends? Those are friends, right?
Friends,
yeah. So a dude bro relationship, and then the relationship he's tackling now is like an actual... I think these are lovers. I think estranged lovers. So that's it'll be interesting to see what he is trying to capture with this dynamic.
It's always nice to keep your eye on whatever Joseph Fares is doing. And he makes a very unique type of experience, which is not happening so much. The co-op,
like co-op story-based
style game.
Yeah,
yeah, story-based co-op game, which and plus he also does the same buddy pass where one copy can be played by two people. Yes. So it's like he's really trying to push this thing that, hey, get a friend and play this with your friend. And he keeps doing it over and over, and you can tell that, hey, look, it's nice that somebody is doing such a thing. It speaks about that earnesty you've been talking about.
Yeah. It's very cool. I hope other people will do it. Actually, it's very cool. The other announcement that is pretty big, that the wind has been taken out of my sails, but I guess it's a big announcement. BioWare showed a teaser for Dragon Age 4. And they showed a teaser for Mass Effect. Yeah, they said
it will continue.
Which is like cool, I guess. I don't know. I just don't have the same faith in BioWare anymore. In the Mass Effect teaser, it looked like it was Liara. So make of that what you will. I hope it's not Liara, but you know what? I don't even know what I hope for anymore. I don't even know if I want another Mass Effect.
You just want to see.
I'm excited for the Mass Effect remake thing that's coming out for next gen, for current
the remaster.
I'm excited for that. New Mass Effect, new Dragon Age. I don't know. I have to wait and see.
Faith in BioWare is obviously at an all-time low for most people, and I know a lot of BioWare fans who look at it and they're still excited. Because at the end of the day, Dragon Age Inquisition, while a bit controversial, was still loved by many Dragon Age fans for its story and stuff.
Yeah,
so
I like
excited for that.
I like Inquisition. It's not a bad game. It's good. It's fine. It's just I don't know. I just have to wait and see now. I've been burnt too much. Now I just have to wait.
But yeah, it was, again, my issue. CG trailer, no, not representative of gameplay, not representative of in-engine, nothing for me to, say, oh, this looks amazing. I can't say this looks amazing because that's not how it's going to look. But it was one of the bigger announcements at the awards. I think like the tier 1 announcements were, Smash reveal, the BioWare reveal, the Perfect Dark reveal. I think those were the tier 1 announcements.
Yeah.
And then then you had the super small ones, the trailer updates and stuff from like smaller games, like not smaller games, but like already released games or games that have been revealed, like Fallout 76 trailer. of course, Master Chief, new trailer, new Scarlet Nexus, Monster Hunter, Oddworlds, all these games which we've been hearing about for a while. And, we're just getting some updates and stuff like that. But the big ones are like, Dragon Age, Mass Effect, Perfect Dark, and Smash. Even though Smash has already been revealed and it's a DLC, it's the sort of thing, Smash DLC character shakes the world. So yeah,
it does absolutely. Yeah, and one smaller one that I know, it's like a small fraction of us that care about this game. Fulbright's new game called Open Roads. It is a game that is starring Kerry Russell and Caitlin Dever, two upcoming Hollywood actresses. These Fulbright are the guys who made Gone Home and Tacoma. The very infamous walking sim people. I'm a big fan of those kind of games. Big fan. And this one looks very cool. The premise is very interesting. It is about a mother and daughter going on the road looking to find out stuff that they found in their grandma's diary, their dead grandma's diary, grandma and mom, respectively, I guess. So I think that's very interesting. Very rare to have a game that has a mom and daughter dynamic in it. So
like smaller things, you're just supposed to pick what interests you in particular. So like for me, the Nier Replicant trailer, there was also the review of the release date for Eternal from PlayStation Studios. I'm always interested in what PS Studios are doing. Returnal is like it's part of their we're going to just keep throwing a bunch of exclusives on PS5, so that's another one it's releasing in March. So it's like trying to keep up the momentum. Just generally the smaller stuff was what really got me. It was mostly Nier and Returnal, which were like for me like, okay, yeah, this is the stuff I'm into.
Yeah. So Nier, is it the remake of one, or is it a sequel or something?
It's a remaster of the first game.
Okay. I'll see if I might be able to get into this one. I don't know if I will. The thing about Nier, I really like what it looks like. I hear that it's got themes that are super up my alley. I like the character designs, the gameplay looks very cool, like the bullet hell stuff. I'm like, that's very intriguing. I don't know, I just can't get into the whole character action stuff, man. It's a genre I really don't like.
You see, listen to this, Dennis. The first Nier game was critically panned, by the way. It was hated by critics, but it was loved by fans. It had an amazing story, but the gameplay was awful. Nier Automata, the story is generally accepted to be not as good as the first games, but it has got better gameplay. The critics loved Nier Automata.
They did,
so do you know what they've done for the Nier remaster? They've said,
married the two.
Okay, we're going to remaster the first game, and even though we want to overhaul it entirely, we're going to try and make the gameplay more like the sequel. That way, people are going to like the first game more, because it will have good story, the best story. It will have gameplay that is not a dumpster fire, and because they just made it more like the second game. So it's a tricky avenue. The first game's gameplay is weird in that it's an action RPG, but it's like really janky.
Yeah, I remember seeing Nier. It was only on PS3, right?
PS3 and Xbox 360. Yeah.
Oh, there's one on 360. Okay, yeah. I remember seeing even like the box art. I'm like, what is this weird game? But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that it's now like popular.
Going to get a chance, yeah.
Yeah,
I think a big part of why Automata got big, of course, is waifus. And Nier 1, the first Nier game, if you're going in for waifus, it will be you'll be hit with a bad surprise that it's not that sort of game.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully to be like, no, you didn't go for, if you went for the sequel, it's like, oh, went for the wife who stayed for the existentialism. But then
Yeah.
now with the first game, it's like, I'm just going for the existentialism this
Yeah,
time.
I think it's gotten to that point where like, yeah, you know what you're going in for in a Yokotaro game. So
Yeah. Of course, the Nier games are more tame than Drakengard, but that's besides the point.
yeah, I feel like those are all the announcements that I cared about. Unless there's any that you cared about that we've missed.
Like as I said, it's up to you. Like obviously, Call of Duty DLC is a big thing, but that doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter
Fall
to
Guys
me
and Among
either.
Us new map, those are big things, but they don't matter to me. But that's the type of announcements we got at the Game Awards. So it's not E3, but it wasn't bad. It was okay.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, it was fine. Well, speaking of that, we can now finally talk about the winners, I guess, in like the big categories or whatever. I don't think, for me, I don't think there was any surprise. For me,
No, not really. I think.
Me, to be
Okay,
honest.
look. This is weird. Like when I was going into the Game Awards, I had the idea that because most American outlets are giving Hades their game of the year awards, I was thinking Hades would really sweep up shop. But then I remembered that the jury is not just American publications. It's a lot of publications outside of America.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of America, most awards are being given to The Last of Us Part 2.
Yes.
And I think that definitely did reflect, because The Last of Us Part 2 swept up shop.
It did. It really did. And in my opinion, deservedly so. Kind of, deservedly so. The only one I think I can dispute is music or soundtrack.
It didn't win soundtrack though.
Which one won soundtrack?
Final Fantasy VII won soundtrack.
Oh, Final Fantasy VII. Okay. Then that's fine to me. Then that's okay. That is perfectly.
The Last of Us won audio design.
Audio design. Okay. That's fine with me then. That's very much okay. I was very.
For me, I'm not one to get butthurt about awards because I almost never agree with them. And, it's just okay, and I like to see things get recognized. So the only one where I can say that, hey, look, The Last of Us wasn't supposed to win this was for Best Narrative, because 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim was supposed to win Best Narrative.
I've heard that a lot. I've also seen that sentiment from different people online, which it's most likely is the case. I can see that. But then the
problem is, only 20 people have played 13 Sentinels. So, it's a shame. It's never going to win. The fact that it's even nominated is a miracle. But, as I just finished 13 Sentinels, and, seeing it not win Best Narrative is like, what are you doing? The only reason you haven't voted for it is because you haven't played it. If you played, you're definitely going to call it the Best Narrative.
Yeah, I mean, at least it has gotten recognition. I hope that other people have tried it out. It being in that category, and other people going, actually, this is the best story. Might help it. I hope that's the case.
Vanillaware are a small studio, and they don't usually need much sales to be successful. They take a long time with their games because they do everything hand drawn. Mm-hmm. So it's very unique. The super hand drawn 2D games, they never sell well, and that's whatever. And 13 Sentinels, even normal Vanillaware fans would be ostracized because usually they make 2D side-scroller action games, but 13 Sentinels is like a visual novel for 75%, and then for 25% of it, it's a tower defense game. And it's like, this is so hard of a sell, but it is apparently like it's been sort of their dream game to make. And after playing it, I completely understand why. It's insane. The game is, in a year where Hades and Last of Us Part 2 are going to get most of the discourse around how storytelling in video games it works.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to say, Hades with its continuous, you die, but the storytelling goes on, or
Mm-hmm.
Last of Us, like, whether you have control, whether it's your story. Those two games will get plaudits for, you will have all the discussion about what narratives in video games are. When 13 Sentinels is heads and shoulders above both of those games in showing what video games are capable of when it comes to telling stories.
Okay, that's exciting. I mean, I'll definitely try it out now. If that's the case, like that's a compelling reason to try it.
It's really, I'm sure you've noticed by now, but I'm shilling for the game. I've transitioned into the shilling for the game. And I don't care one bit. I'm going to shill for this game because I feel more people really need to play the game. There's a lot to say about it. It tells a sort of story with 13 different characters, but it can be played in any order, but the story still makes sense. So it's like the care taken with the writing and the narrative and the plotting of how you, the player, are going to engage with the game it's so amazingly done that, it will say things which are super obvious and you're like, yeah, this was meant to be told to you that this is super obvious. But the twist behind this piece of information you've received will be some context later. So it throws a lot of information at you and you are going to ask so many questions. But this is one of the games where I said, okay, I have faith that my questions will be answered by the end. And I was right to do that. The questions were answered in the end. And the way the game goes about answering your questions it's amazing. It's really engrossing. It's hard to put down.
No, that sounds really cool. I'll definitely try it. I'm sure other people will after that glowing recommendation.
It's definitely like, okay, if by 2020, like, okay, do you, if I would say, hey, recommend somebody a random game from 2020, this is the one I'm going to recommend.
That's the one.
100%.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, we'll try it out.
But yeah,
and
that's the only thing I argue that best narrative should have gone to that. But in general, I think a lot of the awards were like, kind of predictable. You could guess that, you could guess from the nominees that, hey, this game is the likely one to win here.
Yeah. And
it did win, because it was, it's been a stacked year, but you were able to like look at trends and kind of predict that.
True. Yeah. It's been a good year for games. Like, it's been a really, really, really good year, and it's nice to see a lot of them being celebrated. My favorite award, the one that I was very invested in, was the acting one. I'm a big fan of Laura Bailey. I'm glad that she won, for such a pivotal and very difficult role, one that she pulled through. She acted half of that role pregnant. She did the mock-up for Abby while she was pregnant, which is remarkable, so I'm very glad that she won for that one, and yeah. Speaking of, I guess we can now talk about what won Game of the Year.
Yeah. The Last of Us Part 2 won Game of the Year, won Best Game Direction, won Accessibility Award, it won Best Action Adventure, it won Best Audio Design, it won Best Acting Performance, it just won everything. I think the only category it was nominated in that it didn't win was Best Soundtrack. And as well as, it got 2 nominations for Best Performance. So it lost, it didn't win all its nominations because it was literally impossible on that front. But yeah, in general, Last of Us Part 2 just won everything. and the reaction online has been absolutely beautiful.
I can't believe people are mad about that. And I was asking a friend of mine, I was asking Robbie, I'm like, why are people mad? Like I've tried to understand and I never understood. And it turns out they're mad because of a story beat that happens early game because of a certain beloved character. And I'm like, is that really it? Is that really the childish reason?
Look, the thing with The Last of Us Part 2 is it has attracted hate from a lot of people. Like, lots of people have decided we're going to use The Last of Us Part 2 as this game which we're just going to all come and hate. So it's like, oh, maybe you say, I don't like that particular story beat. Fine. Another person will say, I don't like that the game is, is a progressive game. I'll hate it because it's a left-wing SJW game. You don't have to like the story beats. You don't have to hate the story beats. You can hate it for another reason, or you can say, "Oh, I think that these Western games which try to be like movies are terrible." Usually, people with anime avatars, those types of guys.
Yep.
It's what's wrong with the gaming industry, So it's like multiple people banding together to say that, man, I hate this game so much.
Which is
and
weird.
that's why the reaction has been so great to see. It's like I knew this would happen, and I've like really enjoyed it. It's like so many people are like exposing themselves. Like, no, ever, like, no, any game but The Last of Us, any game but The Last of Us, like, no. It's great. And then you go on Twitter and you see all the other studios, they're busy congratulating Naughty Dog. And it's like, hey, look, these guys are these guys don't mind.
They really don't.
It's you who's mad about it.
It's such dumb reasons to dislike the game. People will look back on that game and have very fond memories. They improved the gameplay, which was my biggest gripe with the first one. The decisions, storytelling wise, were very bold, and they kind of it worked out. It could have flopped dramatically what they were trying to do. It could have just been an absolute failure, but they didn't. It worked. It actually worked. The acting was very good, so that helped a lot. That did a lot of heavy lifting for that narrative, the acting. Because the story is not like amazing. It's the acting, which people like the characters, if you like the characters
are fought by acting.
Yes. So that's kind of why that game is revered. It's a good. It's a very good
Naughty
game.
Dog always said before release that, hey, look, this game we're making, a lot of people are either going to hate it or love it, and we are okay with that. And it definitely feels like, hey, this is a developer who has said, like it or not, they're going to make what they want. And full credit to them. They've done that. They've done what they wanted.
They have.
I think when they look back on it, the devs in particular, they will say, okay, we've accomplished what we wanted.
Yeah, which is very good. I hope more games do that. I hope more games are just like, I'm not making this game to sell 8 million pre-orders. I'm making this game because I have a vision and that's what I want it to do. So yeah.
I think another team which can be proud of themselves and say that, hey, we had a vision and we're going to stick to that and accomplish it. I think another team that you said is Vanillaware. But anyway, yeah.
We will play 13 Sentinels. Is it Aegis Rim? Aegis Rim, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll play it.
The salt after the show was great. I enjoyed seeing people getting upset that, oh, no, The Last of Us, because it's like so many people are just hoping for any game but The Last of Us.
And then it goes and sweeps.
I like this. Yeah, it just goes and completely sweeps. And I think what's going to happen is, that's why I mentioned it earlier, when all your favorite websites are giving out Game of the Year, I don't think The Last of Us will win, but I think like it will win from lots of websites, maybe in different languages, which you don't read.
Yeah.
For example, gamesbeat.com, they said that, hey, our submission was Hades. So you can tell that, you know, this will. Lots of American outlets seem to have really latched onto that game.
They have, yeah, which
Mhm.
is warranted.
So you like to see it.
You actually do like to see it very, very much, very, very much. I highly recommend No Clips documentary on that studio and game series, Super Giant Games. Good stuff.
So yeah, that was the Game Awards. Something else happened the day the Game Awards were on, which has also been pretty big. The Game Awards happened on 10th December, which was also the release date of what could be this year's biggest game. I don't know if it will be this year's biggest game because Animal Crossing happened, but okay, this year's second biggest game, and that's Cyberpunk 2077. First of all, it's a massive sales success. Let's put that out of the way. It's a commercial hit. It had 8 million pre-orders. It's
crazy.
Opened the highest selling game on Steam ever. I think there are about 4.7 million people on PC, which is the biggest ever release on PC ever. Which beats World of Warcraft Shadowlands, which was like a few days ago. So Cyberpunk has already beat that. It's there is now a new all-time record peak for concurrent players on Steam after the game came out. It's already profitable day one, but usually these big AAA games are profitable day one either way because of the amount of marketing. But yeah, Cyberpunk sales-wise, it's a monster. If it came out earlier, it would definitely be the second best-selling game this year behind Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to put that on the table, that everything we are going to say from this point doesn't mean the game won't be a commercial success. This is now, we're going to view this with the lens that we view stuff like sports games and Call of Duty, because even though they're commercial successes, there is a lot of criticism that can be levied at this sort of game.
Yes.
Cyberpunk 2077 is not it's not from a small indie studio.
It's not.
It is not a low budget one. No, this is made by a AAA style corporation. So anything that can be said about any bad stuff that can be said about the likes of Call of Duties and whatever can be said about Cyberpunk 2077.
100%.
And I think it's important to preface with that sort of thing.
It's not supposed to be important to preface, but because of how CD Projekt have cultivated their aura, their cult of personality, it is important to preface with that, yes.
Mm-hmm. Because the launch of the game has been a mess.
It's been absolutely terrible. So I have been looking forward to this game for a very long time. I wanted to get it for my birthday. My birthday was the week that the game was coming out. And when the reviews came out, so the official reviews came out on the 8th. But the embargo rules were, don't show any gameplay captured by yourself. We're going to send you footage that you show. So every review that came out on the 8th had images sent to them by CD Projekt Red. And also, they sent PC codes only. They only sent PC codes. And the people who had the game early on PC were the influencers. The reviewers got the codes like 5 days beforehand, which all of them have been like, this isn't enough to swallow the breadth of this game. So the review process alone was sketchy. So I was like, okay, I want to know what this game runs like on console, because I'm debating. I'm like, now it's a low-end laptop now. I'm still getting my PC. It's gonna be like mid to high end. But I'm like, I don't know, should I get it on PC and then play it on my shitty laptop, but then when I upgrade my PC, I'll just be playing it well? Or do I get it on because I want to play it now, I want to play the game now? Or do I get it on PS4 and then when I get my PS5 eventually at the end of next year, I'm just gonna upgrade that or whatever? So where do I wanna? I had options, you know. I wanted to see, but I couldn't tell. Lucky
And
enough, I waited.
this is why you wait for reviews.
Yes,
And it's man. So
this is a
where to
huge
start?
reason. Yeah.
First of all, the reason they only sent footage which they sent the footage which reviewers were allowed to show is because, you know, that was prepared footage by them. So obviously
Yes.
it wasn't going to show anything wrong, because if the reviewers showed their own recorded footage, chances are they would show off the multitude of glitches and bugs and how, you know, remember this game is built for PCs, so you know, on you whatever PC you play, chances are you're not going to get a very good next gen experience matching whatever is in their footage because of the requirements. First of all, it's an extremely taxing game. People are getting bad performance even on high-end PCs.
Yes.
So it's like the majority of people who play the game won't be getting a great experience either way. That's as far as the PC player base goes. And you know, reviewers couldn't show that.
Mm-hmm.
Reviewers couldn't talk much about the bugs. A lot of the reviewers played it via GeForce Now. So they were basically playing it on PC servers. So that will also like give them a better experience, I guess, because you know they'll just play with fast internet.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the work done was to make reviewers either ignore the bugs or not talk as much about it or show off how the bugs are or the extent. And then, you know, I guess this is kind of a problem with a lot of the reviewers. A lot of the reviewers were so hyped up for the game that they couldn't review it badly, and they just put, you know, maybe one negative line saying that, hey, the game's kind of buggy, and as well as saying that, oh, they've promised they'll fix it in the day one patch. This really annoys me as well. How reviewers have code pre-day one patch, the developer says we'll fix it in the day one patch, and so the reviewers will say, okay, they're going to fix this, so I'm going to ignore this in my review, and I'm still going to give it a high score. So it's like, it is really annoying how they did that for the reviews for the PC version.
Yeah.
And then the console versions, it's even worse. Like the console versions on the base consoles they're almost unplayable. Even on the pro consoles, it's really bad. And to get a decent experience, you have to play it on the next gen console via back compat. It's kind of ugly.
It's really bad. And I've had the opportunity to see what the game looks like on PS4, on a low-end PC. I've actually played on a low-end PC, and also I saw what the game runs like on a high-end PC. And it is night and day. It is like playing a Switch game and comparing it to an Xbox One X. Like, you know, screenshots can't even do justice, right? Like, the game is so beautiful. Like, the game is so beautiful. Like, it is, to me, in my opinion, it is the best looking game I have ever seen, especially in motion. Like, you look at it and you're like, okay, this is ray tracing. This is, you know, like the fog detail, the smoke. There's a character, I remember, I was watching my friend play. He was in a bar. There's a character who, and this is when, you know, when you see it, you're like, this is why this game has to be in first person. Like, third person will just ruin it. It would ruin the game. It would ruin the experience. It would ruin the immersion. Like, so you're in first person and you're at the bar there, and you can look around constantly. Even when during dialogue, you can constantly move around. You can stand up. You can walk around, all while talking. So, you know, he's sitting at the bar there. He's taking a drink, and the waitress at the bar has got like a wristwatch, and it's obviously like a digital wristwatch. And her wristwatch has got like high detail, like it's a proper screen, and you can see the stuff on the screen. You know, you guys play games, you know how crazy that is. You know how crazy the fact that something which is like a throwaway accessory on the character has like stuff on it which is visible. You know, that's how much detail this game has. It's so, it looks super good. And then it's sad when you look at what it's like on the base PS4, Xbox One, where it's running at on the base Xbox One, it's running at like an average of 19 to 20 frames a second. Same thing with PS4. And there are things like when you're doing a car chase, the cars don't even explode. You know, like in the set pieces, it just kind of like just crashes and stops when it's supposed to have like an explosion. That's so bad. Like the crowd density is extremely low. It's NPCs change, like when you, it's like it streams in new NPC models when you turn around and turn back. It's just absolutely unplayable. It's so sad.
You know, the thing is, performance, we've really raised our expectations. Performance in the PS3 and 360 era was really bad. So to get bad performing games in the PS4 and Xbox One era is really annoying, especially for a tentpole title. Usually the tentpole titles are kind of polished. But you know, it's not just performance. You know, people can ignore performance. Age of Calamity runs like garbage, but people like it. There's also the issue of bugs and glitches and crashes, and this is what is this sort of thing gets attention whether you care about frame rate or not. You will see that the game has just crashed on me 10 times in the past 1 hour. You will see that, hey, this guy's character model is clipping and is not where it's supposed to be. Those are the sorts of things you will notice.
Yeah.
You'll see that, oh, a bug and I can't progress anymore. That stuff, that's the actual really bad stuff.
True. You reminded me, there's a bug I saw. This is in the prologue, so it's fine. So you're stealing this thing, and then the medical team comes around, and the medical team obviously is like heavily armored. You're trying to get to the elevator, right? And then there's the mini boss. So my friend kind of runs through into the elevator, clicks to go, but it's not going, and it's like, why isn't it moving? And then he's looking around, and then there's a flashing character model in the elevator of the mini boss. He keeps flashing in and out. So he's just like, I'm just gonna shoot in the general direction of where I think it could be in the center. So he just unloads into air basically, and then suddenly a body drops. And I'm like, if you didn't do that, you would have been stuck here unless you like reloaded or something, and then the character model showed up. So basically the character model was like stuck in limbo, and he just made the right call to just shoot in that general direction. Stuff like that, you know. It's bad, and that's on the high-end PC. So I can only wonder what it's like on console. God.
Delay time. People think delay time so that they crunch and they'll fix the bugs, but in reality, it's them crunching is just going to make more bugs because the workers and they're not well rested and that sort of stuff.
Very true. Very, very true. I mean, it's man. I've heard that Sony. I just saw this like in the afternoon. I don't know if it's true or not. I heard Sony are refunding people who are not happy with it, which I think is absolutely correct. The correct thing to do.
It's unprecedented.
Yeah, it's because it's bad. I know a lot of people who say I don't see frame rate, I don't see resolution, but this one, I'll be shocked if you can't see it, or at least feel it. I'll be very shocked if you can feel it if you're on a base PS4, or worse, even an Xbox One. It's, oh man.
And it's a shame because a lot of people are saying that aside, it's a good game.
Yeah.
Because there's a side of the discourse which is saying that, hey, this game is a bad, is not what I wanted. And I'm seeing a bunch of that stuff, especially because of how controversial CD Projekt Red have been the past few weeks and past few months or whatever. CD Projekt Red, I don't think that they're a very Polish company, if I'll say that. And if you're not ready to deal with a company that's very Polish, you object to their content, and especially with as many sensitive things as CyberPunk has. Transhumanism ties into transgender identity and all that stuff, as well as deep future. You also say that how it deals with minorities and all that stuff. And I'm seeing a lot of critique for that. But that stuff, lots of people do not really care.
No, they don't.
About
That's
that
true.
sort of
They
stuff.
don't.
So they're saying that, yeah, this is a good game. I like the characters. I like all that stuff. But then the bugs and the glitches are just really ruining the experience for a lot of people.
Yeah, they really are. And I wish that wasn't the case, because having waited for so long and buying and or pre-ordering, which most people likely did, and then having it just run, or basically not run on your machine is sad.
Even me, a hype monster. I just said that, no, I can't do this.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. And I do hope that it eventually gets fixed. But to be honest, from what I can see, CyberPunk 2077 is a PS5 and Xbox Series X game, as well as PC. Period. Nothing else. Those other things it's on, bad idea. Don't fall for it.
And also the minimum specs should be updated to reflect something which won't put your PC to task.
Yes, please do that. Make sure you please do that. Yeah, it's man. It's been a shame. I obviously I'm a big fan of CyberPunk because of the themes it tackles. CyberPunk as a genre, and from what I've seen, heard, and read, the game kind of doesn't do much with that, which is a bit disappointing. But like you said, most gamers absolutely don't care about that stuff. Excuse me. And because the game as a video game itself is fine, is good even, hence people will enjoy it when they do manage to play it. So yeah, I guess that's that on that.
That's that on that. All we'll do is, I feel bad for the CD Projekt Red's employees, because they're going to spend the next few months. First, they have to try and fix the game. Then they have to try and ship the next gen official versions.
Yes. Oh god, I forgot about that.
Multiplayer, and then they have to do the DLC expansion. It's like it never ends. It's going to be a bad time for our friends at CD Projekt Red.
It is. Well, and unless you've got anything extra to say, I guess we can wrap it up there.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. We're mostly talking about stuff on 10th December.
Yes.
Game Awards and CyberPunk. Big things, and yeah, they happened.
They did happen. Oh yeah. Well, thanks for listening, guys. I haven't forgotten our promised Hades episode. It's just a lot of stuff happened in this one, and we really had to address it, especially the CyberPunk thing. I'm very happy. In the beginning, I noticed even from the press and some people, there was this reluctance to express frustration at CD Projekt, and now it's like that curtain has been raised, and people are like, you know what? No, this was bad, and I think that's good. Well, with that said, I guess we can end the episode here, and thanks for listening. We'll get you this. We'll be back on the next one.